Today's topic on Move Miami is a very personal one that hopefully many of you married couples never have to go through. But we're going to talk about divorce today. I brought my very good friend with me, Krizia Toledo, an attorney here in Miami that focuses on family law, to talk to you guys about the family law process and what it entails and how we could prepare for these inevitable events. Krizia, thanks for joining us here today on Move Miami.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, having gone through the divorce process, I understand that the marital home happens to be one of the most disputed and difficult things to deal with aside from everything having to do with your children. Talk to someone that may be going through the divorce process or is just getting started and thinking about it, and what they should be doing in order to prepare for that process as it relates to their real estate or marital home.
Yeah, absolutely. So in many cases, if not most of them, the marital home is the most valuable asset of the marital estate. So it is the big ticket item that is typically contested and negotiated throughout a divorce process.
It also happens to be the biggest expense for most.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the best thing is to make sure that you're keeping very careful records. So you want to make sure that you have at least the past year or 2 years worth of statements from your mortgage, the payments that have been made, any improvements that have been done on the property, renovations. You want to keep track of what accounts the money is coming from to do these improvements. You want to make sure that you are keeping the receipts of what everything costs, the contracts for the work that's been done, because all of this is going to be very important when you are negotiating the value of the house, the appreciation throughout the marriage. These are all big ticket items. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for that by having all the proper paperwork and evidence.
Those are all great tips for someone who is about to embark on the process or in the middle of it and having to sell their marital home. One of those reasons is because the home has to be valued at a point in time or sold within a certain amount of time. Krizia, tell our viewers who may be thinking about getting divorced or in the process of getting divorced, historically, what the courts have done with the marital residence.
So historically, the marital residence was considered to be the shelter for the children and the parent who has the children the majority of the time. Typically, the courts would used to favor, back in the day, perhaps the mother. Nowadays, the courts are looking at what's in the best interests of the children. While the courts used to assume that the best interests of the children were for them to stay in the marital home that they were raised in, that's no longer the case. Given the changes in the real estate market and the increase in value of these properties, the courts are giving a lot of deference to the financial and business interests that each spouse has in the marital home.
So it's a lot more equitable than it was, back in the day.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And if a couples can't come to an arrangement regarding who's going to take it over or someone's going to buy the other spouse out, what's the name of the court action that the spouses would have to ask or petition the court to do in the event that they can't come to an agreement in a settlement regarding the marital home?
Right, so something that I like to do from the beginning of my cases to protect my client's interests is, if there's not 100% certainty that they're gonna come to an agreement on what's gonna happen with the house, it's important to include with the petition for dissolution of marriage a count for partition. It's called a partition claim. So typically it means that these houses and properties can't be divided themselves in between two people. So because of that, in the event that they cannot come to an agreement, the partition claim is asking the court to force the sale of the house.
Correct. So a partition is a forced sale of a home that if you can't agree either by settlement or at mediation, you're leaving it up to the judge to do it. And they're gonna assign some random person or realtor to do so that's on a wheel. This is where we would like to offer you our services, being that we've got experience. I've lived through this, I've done it, I've handled many other actions that are not just divorces, but other forced sales where a closely held business can't decide on how we're gonna continue to maintain to operate, or if we're gonna sell, one partner wants to sell, one doesn't. And if you can't come to an agreement, the action's called the partition. We're here to help you in the event that something like this happens.
As a family law attorney, that's why it's so important to have a very good relationship with a reputable real estate agent, real estate broker, because those issues of having one assigned from the wheel can be avoided in these types of discussions, negotiations, settlements, things of that nature. You want to make sure that you have someone ready to name, ready to agree to with opposing counsel to handle the sale of the home.
And absolutely, the same thing goes both ways when you're trying or you're in the process of getting divorced, or anytime you have to have legal representation or advice. You should do your homework. You need to interview at least 1, 2, even 3 attorneys. You do the same thing when you're searching for a contractor to build a house, an architect. You need reputable people who have experience in the community and are doing this day and day. We're gonna put Krizia's information down below so that you can reach her if you need any advice regarding the division of your marital property, or you're even thinking about getting a divorce. It's worth sitting down with someone to even give you an hour of their time and sit down with you to talk to you about what your options are. That way you're a little more informed before you get into the process. So if you're thinking you need some help, just shoot us a message or drop us a link, need help, and we'll put you in contact with Krizia or another reputable divorce attorney in the community that may be able to help you with these issues. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your practice.
Sure, thank you. Hi, Move Miami. How are you? My name is Krizia Toledo. I am a family law attorney. Our main office is in Coral Gables, Florida. I've been doing all areas of law under the family law umbrella for many years now. I am solely focusing my practice on dissolution of marriage proceedings, paternity proceedings, post-judgment modifications, child support, custody issues. I'm here to help you. I'm happy to give you guys my time, give you guys my impression of your case. Knowledge is power, so please reach out. I'm here to help. You can find me at the Florida Probate and Family Law Firm. Check us out on Instagram at FLPFlaw, and check us out on Google as well. Thank you so much.
We're gonna tag her information down below in the description. You have any questions about divorces, reach out to Krizia. Let's assume the following scenario. You've got only one spouse on the title of the home. What does the court do in that scenario? Is that still considered a marital property, or is it just that one person's home?
So this is one of my favorite topics to talk about, because there's a huge misconception, and it's a reasonable misconception, that if only one spouse is on the title, then the other spouse is not entitled to any portion of that property. That is not true. So in Florida, the courts are gonna look at when the property was acquired, first and foremost. So they're gonna look at the date of marriage, and if the house was bought after the date of marriage, it is considered a marital asset, no matter who's on the title. Also, another aspect is if the property is purchased before the date of marriage, however, marital funds were used to improve the property and increase the value, the appreciation value of that property now also becomes marital and is subject to be distributed between the two spouses.
And we call that a commingling of your assets. So you mixed marital with non-marital assets. It's fair game for the other attorneys to come after it. Again, using someone who's reputable in the community and has gone through these procedures before is very important. Same thing with selling one of these types of assets. So again, if you like this content, please give us a like, follow the channel for more educational content like this. And again, Krizia, thank you for joining us on Move Miami. If you guys have any issues with the divorce, feel free to look her up. I'm gonna plug her information down below. Thanks again for watching.
Thank you.